What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of Action Sunday. And today I'm looking at March for Death, starring Steven Seagal. I'm going back to the Steven Seagal well because this was on my queue. I was like, you know what? I'll review it, and not to mention someone else also reviewed and also mentioned to me maybe I should review more Steven Seagal. So I'm going to do that. So this week I'm looking at this movie from 1990. So almost 30 years ago. So would you believe that? How appropriate. But anyway, for those of you that have never heard of this movie, in my opinion, I'm going to say it's right now. I feel like this has got to be possibly, I would say, ranked up there with possibly one of his best works, in my opinion. I mean, you could say Mr. Steven Seagal is like a bland, one-dimensional character, depending on how you look at it. But you can't disregard the just amount of carnage and action that they throw into a movie. So in a way, you could probably look at it, it's like, okay, it's your typical action flair movie, but with Steven Seagal, and of course, he is a tough motherfucker. Especially in this movie, because oh my God, there was carnage of must in this movie. But now let's get to the plot. That way, we can bring everybody up to speed. So, Seagal plays a guy named John Hatcher. He's a retired DEA agent. So supposedly he's retired, but then all of a sudden, this Jamaican drug posse somehow it comes to town, shooting up the place, causing chaos, going so far as to quote unquote mark him for death, and that's where there was, it's a death threat put on him and his family. And then it just snowballs from there, where literally like this Jamaican gang is just out for blood. They want to beat the shit out of him. They want him dead. And there's like some moments where they kind of cross the line, in my opinion. But there's a big gray area where, how can I say this? Where I thought it was a little tame, but also a little overblown. But at the same time, I also felt there were a few racist moments because there's a few racist lines that are thrown, but they're mostly thrown from Keith David's character, which, as you know, Keith David is black, and of course, I love Keith David. Okay, he's got a soothing voice. He's a good character actor, but I'm like. So it's a bit of gray area. So it's like I wouldn't say, would you call that racist? Yeah, because he's kind of describing this Jamaican drug gang, but at the same time, it's like this is being said from another black man. But of course, I don't want to get into semantics and all this nonsense. So there's a bit of a gray area. So there are some elements in this movie that will not fly 30 years later. But watching this movie just for the typical action flair, it's just batshit crazy. And it really does, because, and there's, like I said, the moment that cross the line is the Jamaican gang actually shoots up his home, almost damn near kills his niece, played by a young Danielle Harris. Yes, Danielle Harris is in this movie. So any horror fans out there, you might get a kick out of that. Let's see, anyone else that I could point out in this cast? Well, let's see, the villain Screwface. They really need to work on the villain. I'm like, they could have thought of any better name, because Screwface, that is the worst. Out of all the villain names, that's got to be the bottom of the barrel worst villain title I've ever heard. If you thought Taserface was funny in Guardians of the Galaxy, this name is just batshit worse. And of course, this guy is a freaking voodoo god, in my opinion, because there's some dark shit that happens in this movie. But my goodness, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of carnage, a lot of gruesome stuff. But to me, I feel like it kind of dings it for me on my final score. But what brings it up to me is like just how well driven. Like you got the ultimate good guy, the ultimate bad guy dynamic. That's the archetype that I look forward to when it comes to these kind of moments. And the fact that the villain is just wants the hero dead. We rarely get that in these kind of B-movie action movies these days. But that really, yeah, seriously, it doesn't happen. So for it to happen here, I kind of like it. Now let's talk about the final fights between the villain and the hero. So I love the big tease, like the big twist. It's like, wait, what? He's not dead? Spoilers ahead. I'm like, good word, but here's something funny. He gets killed by, he first gets killed in the most cartoonish way. He gets his head lobbed off, Highlander style. Then I'm like, wait, So he's dead. So why is there still stuff left in the movie? So they had to do all this other stuff. There's a lot of things happening during the last act, and I feel like it kind of brings it up a little bit, but kind of brings suspense, and then hits you with the shock twist. It's like, oh my goodness, the villain's not dead. I like that. So in a way, I feel like this was definitely a strong contender for possibly one of Seagal's best work. But let's see, as you know, Seagal can play, again, only is just a one-dimension, one-note man where he can't just break out just being himself. Okay, it's just Steven Seagal playing himself, and then everyone else kind of is trying to build him up. As you know, Seagal can't act for shit, and I've said that before on this channel. So I feel like that's the part of the major dings on this story. It's like there's bit of that, a little bit of overblown with the villains, a little bit inconsistent, and of course the gray area with the mildly racist moments. So I feel like that's going to affect my overall grade. But if you're just looking for your typical action flair, this is the movie for you. So with that in mind, I'm going to give March for Death a final score of a 6.5 out of 10. That's as best I'm gonna do. I could have ranked it higher, but like I said, there's a big gray area, and believe it or not, I'd rather just watch it on demand service instead of putting it for everyone to watch, because like I said, a lot of elements will not fly today. All right. So yeah, I'd say proceed with caution if you want to watch this movie. All right. So that does for tonight. Let me know what you think. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, stay tuned for some awesome, exciting videos. And by chance, I might get out next week's episode, maybe early. Who knows? Because it's Father's Day. But anyway, just stay tuned for some more fun videos. All right, folks. Good night, everyone.